G'day. Have you ever thought of the relationship between gun barrels and conversion? When scientists looked at the manufacture of gun barrels, some found an alarming fact. Before the 1770s, scientists believed that anything you can burn contains a colourless, odourless fluid which they named phlogiston. They thought that when something is burnt, this fluid is released and goes into surrounding objects, making them hot. But gun barrels were a scientific problem. They start as a big, roughly shaped metal tube. The barrel is bored to the exact dimensions on a gigantic lathe so that the cannonball doesn't get stuck halfway or just dribble out the end in a cloud of smoke. When they bored those gun barrels, they got awfully hot. So where did this heat come from? There was no fire anywhere around. Where could phlogiston come from? And then someone noticed that a cold gun barrel and a hot one weighed the same. Sneaky stuff, this phlogiston. Where was it hiding when the barrel was hot? Some brave souls said there's no such thing as phlogiston. There is some better explanation for heat. Lots of scientists said, no way. Phlogiston has worked for 150 years, it has to be right. Some said maybe it's about how molecules move in the barrels. But even when a few scientists said that the phlogiston theory didn't work, most scientists refused point blank to change their mind about heat. They even got angry about their precious phlogiston. We are taught that if we present facts, people will see the facts and are right and believe them. Does that really work? We all resist change until there's no way out. I got talking with a young woman on a train one night. She was a Presbyterian and getting engaged to a Catholic. She asked what I thought about the religious differences. I said there would be practical issues like baptising children or which church to attend, but I said those are technicalities. The bottom line is whether you both have a genuine relationship with Jesus. Then I said, do you trust in Jesus yourself? She didn't answer. She began shaking. I didn't pressure her. I just made that statement and asked that question. I didn't even have to explain anything to her. She was torn between the change she knew she must make and her desire to remain where she was and not change. She was just like those scientists who refused to budge on phlogiston. They were torn. The facts pushed them to change. Their feelings of being right and their resistance to changing pulled them to where they had always stood. The woman on the train and the scientist studying heat both needed to be converted. In Matthew 18, Jesus' disciples ask a question. It says, at that time the disciples came to Jesus saying, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And calling to him a child, he put him in the midst of them and said, truly I say to you, unless you turn and become like children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Whoever humbles himself like this child, he is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Early translations say, unless you are converted and become like children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. It's a reasonable translation. It's very similar to what we read in John chapter 3, where Jesus tells Nicodemus, truly, truly, I say to you, unless one is born anew, he cannot see the kingdom of God. Becoming a Christian isn't a mere adoption of good principles. It's about doing what those scientists had to do, abandoning the old paradigm for a new one. And it's not merely about giving up one scientific idea to take up a new one. It's about giving up the old way of viewing yourself, your life, your directions, and starting with a fresh new way of viewing yourself, your life, your directions. Even scientists these days sometimes talk about a conversion when you have to seriously change your mind. No one should ever tell you that changing your mind about yourself and Jesus is easy. It can be like dying and rising to a new life. But being converted, being born again, is the start of a new life with Jesus. Like I asked that woman on the train, do you trust in Jesus yourself? Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe using the button below.